I do not mic.
Yep. Yeah, hold on. On your Twitch? Hold on. Actually, yeah, hold on. Let me go. Oh, hold on. We got an ad. Hold on. Yeah. Hmm. All right. So I can't hear you.
Hear me. Okay, so now you can hear me.
I can't hear you.
Now?
So use the now I it's talk.
Testing.
Yes. Oh, now there's an echo of me. So how about this? Try this. Just use the browser. Turn. Ah. Do this. Use the browser. So basically, don't use your microphone through OBS. Okay. No. Nope.
This on. Now what do you now can you hear yourself if I do that? Are you No. No.
Hello, hello. I hear me.
But now is there an echo
Is there an echo now? I don't hear you anymore.
now? You don't hear me now?
I hear you in the browser here, but you're not coming through.
But can I okay, then we have 5 people. Can you guys hear me and Chris?
Ooh.
See,
Can you do I echo?
I heard not on my end that I don't have any sound on.
Oh, that's better. I think we got it.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, cool. Nice. I'm still learning everything. So like the sound setup has been the hardest thing for me to get. Every single
Yeah.
time I've had issues with sound. So I will get it one day. And I think when I actually sit down and like put like all the scenes together, it'll make it better. But yeah, for now it's just one of those learning
Ellie.
experiences. Hey Ellie, how's
What
it
up, homie?
going? Thanks for joining.
We got it
Okay.
going now.
All right, we got it going. So we have an ad starting in a minute and a half, but we're going to start anyway. So, okay, so today I am here with Chris Nowicki. I always get your last name wrong. So sorry. And we're
It's
gonna
almost
talk
like
about
a
building
Wookiee from Star Wars.
in we're gonna we're gonna talk about building in public and then lots of other stuff. I knew this would be a fun conversation already. So, okay, so let's talk about what you're currently working on. I know you have lots of things in the works right now.
Yeah. So a little bit, lots of stuff going on. So first, hello, my name is Chris, and I actually met Shook at that conference. So that was pretty cool. I think we talked online a few times before then, and then finally met at that conference along with Ellie and a few other people. So that was great. Um, yeah. So my name is Chris. I've been trying to break into tech for 2 years now. Been in aerospace defense for 17 years. Did a coding boot camp in May of 22, April of 22, graduated November of 22, and then, been trying to break into tech since. Full stack developer. I kind of focus on Next.js, React, all DBs, Astro, all that fun stuff. Um, yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me. Open to work.
Okay, so we'll start. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not your first conference, right? You have been to Render ATL and like you go to conferences regularly, don't you?
Yeah, I went to Render ATL last year. And then that was my first tech conference. James Q Quick gave me a sweet discount code. And I bought a VIP ticket so that I can hang out with all of the people and then just started introducing myself to everyone. So that was sweet. It was a great first conference. And then that conference was my second one in January, and a completely different conference and feel, way more intimate. I loved it.
Yeah, and so I know about virtual coffee. I still have not gone to uh a a meetup with them because I am always asleep whenever
Yep.
their meetings are, and I always miss it. It's on my goal list still. But you have been you've been volunteering and been with that group for quite a while too, right?
Say that again.
You've been with Virtual IO. You've been a part of that group for quite a while
Yeah,
too, right?
I heard about virtual coffee at that conference. Or no, at Render, too many conferences, and joined quickly after that. So I've been with Virtual Coffee since July, August of 23. So we're coming up on almost a year. Then I started volunteering with them about 4 or 5 months ago, running coffee chats and helping out wherever I can as a volunteer. So it's been great. Ellie asks, "Are you guys going to that Wisconsin?" I am definitely trying to go to that Wisconsin. Are you, Sarah?
I am trying to go. I submitted a talk, and then
Ooh.
I actually had a job interview, and I told the person I was interviewing with that I submitted a talk and would I be able to go if I got, this job. And they told me that even if I didn't get the talk in, that they might pay for my travel to go. So that if I get this
Oh,
job, there's a good
sweet.
chance I'll be going. Yeah.
That is a good
Yeah.
company.
So,
Do you want to share where you applied or no?
it's a company called Hunter Industries. I actually found out about it through Twitter. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm in the interview process. And so we'll see. I'll hear something next week. So far, it's been good news, but I don't know what my competition is, so we'll see how it goes.
All front end work?
Yeah, it's all front end work, which is what made me really excited about it because it's like very, very, very deep front end. So lots of CSS, lots of Canvas, lots of working with there's a front end
Yeah.
framework that they're working with. Yeah, so totally up my alley. Like I am super excited. I was like, look, I like do animations on my free time. That's what I do, like instead of focusing on all the logic. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping, I'm hoping it works out.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm a
Chris
green
is a
rectangle?
green rectangle. I don't know. Hey, learner, how's it going? See,
I'm a
but
green
now
rec.
I don't even. You are a green rectangle. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know if that's your end or mine or if it's OBS, but now I don't have duplicate sources. I just did the one scene. But yeah, you are a rectangle. Let's refresh. Hold on. Hold on. I think that's on your end. Is your camera on? But that's so weird
Yeah.
because I can see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now if I do that. Now, okay, there you are. I had to refresh. I think it's probably something with my like laptop is not like actually a streaming laptop, so it's probably something with like the hard
Oh,
drive or something. I'm not sure though.
oh,
Um,
someone says we are stuck.
oh, that's because I just refreshed the source. We should be okay now. I had to refresh. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
now
Now it's
it's
normal.
normal.
Ellie, just let me know if it happens again. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping to go to that, and depending on this job, I'll be able to. We'll see. Yes.
That is awesome. That's great. Um, Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for helping us out. Hello, learner. How's it
Yes,
going?
Learner's awesome. He comes in a lot too. He's awesome. So,
Nice.
okay. So we
Um,
talked about,
Back to
oh,
your
go ahead. Yeah.
question. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
conferences.
So
So
projects I'm working on, right? Or
projects. Yes, they'll go
conferences.
to projects. Okay, let's
All
do
right.
conferences and then switch
Um,
back to projects because I have questions there. I had a segue for why I asked that.
all right. Um, yeah, so those are the two conferences, Render and that, which are two completely vibes, two different completely feels. I also submitted a talk for that Wisconsin, so I'm
What's your
hoping
topic?
I worked with Clark on it. Uh, my topic has to do how to be a better you in productivity.
Oh, I like
It's
that.
really really cool and exciting. So I'm very excited for that. It's a whole the whole concept is um kind of the way that we all uh what you view as success, what I view as a success, is two completely different things based on how we see the world and our experiences, right? And
I
so
like
a lot
that.
of the times, if we don't take a look at a framework to it, so it basically it's like a framework to a better you um, in a busy world, and the idea is, kind of walking through different questions to ask ourselves before we get into what tools. So it's not, I'm not going to be covering you should use this tool versus this tool because everyone's different. Everyone uses tools differently. But the idea is what questions can we ask ourselves? What do we need to know about ourselves before we start choosing the tools, choosing the productivity methods? It's really cool. It started off as something completely different. It started off as ADHD from a manager's perspective, since I have ADHD and I'm
I
currently
remember
a
you
manager.
mentioned,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And then I sent it to Clark for him to review because he offered to help me. And he ripped the thing apart in a positive way, not in a like, well, it was a constructive criticism ripping apart, but he asked some really valid questions. And I remember talking to Clark at that conference, and I said, he goes, Chris, one thing you need to know is what you think your topic is, it's probably going to change once you revise this. And in my head, I had it stuck that, nope, this is what I'm going to do. And then, no, it completely changed. So pivoted to less of ADHD, but that might come up in the talk because that's the lens that I view the world from
Yep.
experiencing ADHD for my entire life. And then what are things that I learned along the way to be successful? I've been with the same company for 17 years, experience all different levels within the company from independent contributor all the way up to senior manager. How did I become successful with having such an ADD brain and scattered brained and all that sort of stuff? So
So
yeah, but
interesting. So my talk is way different. Mine is actually color theory and like hex and RGB, and then if I had time, do HSL and add some other
yeah,
color. So mine's a bit different. But so my problem, and I think so. This was my first time ever submitting a talk. Have you submitted talk proposals before?
I did. I submitted one to Render and it got rejected, but
Okay,
that's okay.
yeah, so this was my first time. I'm not necessarily expecting that it'll be accepted. I don't think so because I didn't ask for help. And like that's like one of the things that I have and this is actually one of the things I wanted to talk about today because you seem to like be like we're going to talk about what you're doing but like and all this you seem to be in like all these different groups and like so I have I love being in different groups too, but I'm much more I'm more introverted. I like those one-on-one, like this is great. Like
Mm.
having, even if we were like offline, not in front of people, like having these one-on-one conversations is a lot easier for me. Like I cannot for the life of me stay active in Discord at all. Any group in Discord, unless
Oh.
like maybe I was like a
Mhm.
moderator or something, then I could, but like I can't. I can do Twitter and I can do Twitch and I can do Slack. I have one Slack group that I'm in. I don't know. Slack is for me is way easier. I don't know. It's a me thing.
It is.
Um,
It is.
but I have a lot of trouble asking for help. So when I was like writing my talk, and I was last minute for this too, because I it took me a long time to get it in. I thought about asking for help, but then I didn't. And so how do you feel, how do you get comfortable asking for help? And then like asking to be a part of the groups that you're a part of and getting
Yeah.
into these different projects that we haven't gone over, but get to that next.
Yeah. So a couple things there. One, oh hey Ryan, how's it going?
Hey
Welcome,
Linda, hey
welcome.
Ryan.
Um, yeah. So I think one of the things is I'm actually an introverted person, believe it or not. I'm introverted. Um I do well conversing with others and putting myself out there and whatnot, but I actually recharge by me time. And I had to, it's that whole thing of, I think at that conference it was shooting your shot, right? So that's one of the things that Clark talked about. He talked about, uh, shoot your shot. Like, do you have someone you go talk to? Go and talk to them, right? I went and talked to Shonda, and that was phenomenal. It was so great. Had a wonderful conversation with her. Her talk was insanely phenomenal and helpful. Um, I think when it comes to asking people for help or asking to be a part of projects, you got to be prepared for the no. And why not? Why not ask? What is the harm in asking? Because the worst thing that can happen is someone's going to say, no, I'm not, I can't help you. Or I don't have room, or, um, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, the, I think for me, I just decided that all right. So here's one of the projects I'm working on is um, deals for devs for James Q Quick. And Ryan is a part of that too. Ellie is now a part of it. And it's kind of a cool story because um, I was watching a compressed FM live podcast recording that they stream on Twitch while they
Mm-hmm.
record. And James was talking about he has so many different projects, but just not enough help. And I got sick of making my own side projects that never went anywhere, where I wanted to work on a real world project that was going to be used for something. Um, so I reached out to him over Twitter. I said, "Hey man, I'm going to be at that conference. Would love to connect and see what I can help out with." And he got super excited. And so we sat down at that conference, talked for an hour, and we realized that um, you know, the Deals for Devs project was perfect because of the stack. It's Next.js. It's and that's my primary tech stack is Next.js. I love it. And then along with that, he's using Resend and React Email for the emails. And he didn't know, he's never worked with those before, and I had. So I was like, hey, why don't I jump in? We can collaborate together and figure it out. And now that project, Deals for Devs, has grown to an open source project. When it gets to the point where it starts making money, he's going to be donating that back to his Learn Build Tech community and all the things
That's
to
awesome.
support
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Now, the funny part at the very beginning, before he opened it up fully open source, I was having a talk with Ryan, and Ryan's like, "How did you get that?" I'm like, "I just asked him." And so then Ryan, he just gets a hold of James. He's like, "Hey, I want to help." He didn't, a lot of people don't realize that you can ask. You know, people like James. I think that's the one great thing about that conference is that a lot of the influencers that we know on YouTube or Twitch or in the developer community are accessible. You know, Danny, James, Shonda, like all of these people, Tessa Kriesel, all of these people. Um, I'm sorry, but is it frozen?
I don't know. Can you guys learn her? You know what?
Uh,
And I also have a thunderstorm as
yeah,
well. So it might be that too.
yeah.
Linda says the video hasn't worked, but the audio is great. Oh, we are frozen. Okay, I'm gonna refresh the scene again. Sorry guys, we're black for a second. And then now we should be loading back up. All right, there we go.
Cool.
I think we still are frozen. I think it's Twitch. I don't know. The video is frozen.
Hmm.
Every time I stream, there's a new issue. This has never happened before, but I do have a big thunderstorm going on. Um, uh,
Hmm.
so weird. Okay, well, our
That's very
audio is
weird.
good. I don't
At least the
understand.
audio is good, but people are looking at green
Okay, now
boxes.
I see. Oh, here, you know what? Transition here. All right. There we go. Now you're moving. You moved for a second. You're like a statue. It's like the eyes moved. Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. All right, yay. Sorry, guys. I have a thunderstorm going on here, and then I don't know, my video's just like been acting up today, so I apologize. Okay, so yeah, so asking if you can join, and then James, open source.
Yep. Yep. James open source. So, I think the whole point of that is, I mean, I think a lot of people are too afraid to ask, like, oh my gosh, this person has X number of followers. This person, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it doesn't hurt to just ask, hey, do you need any help on anything?
Yeah, true.
And a lot of the influencers, content creators, other developers that I've met at that conference, and even from Render, they are all about helping new people trying to break into tech because they were once there as well. So
Yep.
yeah, I think the message there is shoot your shot. If you have someone you want to work with or collaborate with, reach out because most likely they have a backlog of projects that they're like, man, I would love to get this started if you want to help.
Yeah, that's the other thing for me though, is I have a backlog of personal projects too. And I guess I should make mine open source, and I will at some point, but I don't know. When do you make your project open source? There's a question.
You could do it from the very beginning if you want to. I mean, look at if you look at the tech commute community, um, they decided to their thing started off just as Jason Torres's group, right? And they
Yep.
started off as a Twitter space,
Yeah,
and then
I was a guest on there. I love
yeah,
Jason. He's awesome. I get his he sends me motivation texts every morning.
me too. I love
You
it.
got them
I
too.
like the
I love it. It's so awesome. Like I sometimes need them, and like so every morning I know I'm gonna have a little motivation if I need it. It's great.
yeah.
He's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's great. He does the same thing for me too, and you know, um, so if you look at that community, right, they started doing a website. Ryan Dutfer, I left. Yeah, we're having technical issues, dude.
Yeah,
We're
we're
we're just
having
getting
tech
through it. It's
issues.
fine.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear us now?
I feel like we're a Verizon commercial.
That's exactly what went through my mind when I said that. Oh,
I'm
Linda can
still
still hear. So
here.
it's like selectively doesn't want certain people to see and hear. Ryan, it does not like you today. A little bit is
Oh
frozen.
man.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. You know what? I'm almost just
Hmm.
going to. Here's what I'm gonna do. I think I might just. Oh, you know what? You can't kill the video. I could kill the video and we could just do audio.
I wonder. We might just have to do this here. Let's see what happens. What happens when you kill the audio? Hold on. Should I turn my camera off?
Yeah, try turning your camera off. Okay, hold on, and I'll try. Okay, and then. Okay, can you hear me? Or can I hear you now, Chris?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, you know what? Then that's what we'll do. I don't know how to see. It says, okay, turn camera off. I wonder if that's why. It's weird. It's saying that like my camera's off and then on. Okay, all right. Let's try one more time with cameras, and then if it doesn't work, actually, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, let's
You
just
want to go
okay,
back on
we're
again
good.
with cameras?
Yeah, let's try one more time, and then if it gives us issues, I'm gonna refresh here. I just keep refreshing the scene. All right, and
It
I'm gonna
shouldn't
go
have to
here.
refresh that much though.
It
It should
shouldn't
just
have to
be.
refresh. Like, this is so weird. I've never had this happen before. And then now it's saying my camera is not enabled, even though it is. Okay, there we go.
It's a.
All right.
It's a browser. It might be a browser thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've done this exact same setup before, so it's just being weird today. Um, sorry, everybody. Yeah, we treat it like, I mean, it basically is a podcast. So if we keep having video issues, we'll just turn off video and finish our conversation with audio. It's not a big deal. Um, All right. Now I have to restraight because I also have ADHD. So I've gotten distracted and now we have to circle back to where we were. Oh, yeah. So we were talking about when do you want to, so you could do it anytime. You can make yours. Do you have any projects that you're going to do that are open source that are yours?
Um, I do, and I just haven't started it yet. I was going to start it doing with the uh, what's her name, Amy Dutton, was doing
Oh, yeah. Okay.
the 2 week challenge, and I was
Yes.
gonna do. I was gonna. I'm building a site called devkits.me, and it's a place where people can share their uses, like what streaming stuff are they using, what keyboard are they using, or but then I realized I had committed to way too many projects. My wife is like, "How many things are you working on right now?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm working on a lot." So that's something I'm going to start eventually. Um, just not quite there yet because I'm helping James maintain deals for devs, and then
Is
I'm
that out
also a
now?
part
Is it
of.
live?
It's live. It's just collecting emails for subscriptions. Um,
Gotcha. Okay.
dealsfordevs.com. So you can sign up um, with a subscription, and you'll get notified once we get the site going with actual deals. But yeah, we've done a complete overhaul. Uh, okay, also, but I can still hear. All right, let's just go to.
Yeah, let's just go to audio. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So, yes, Ryan put it in the channel there, and so that's cool. Then there's another project that Shashi, who's a senior software engineer at Microsoft, um, reached out asking if I wanted to get involved in a build in public project cohort that he's doing, where we're building a football app called Gridiron Survivor, where people choose during the football season, NFL season, people choose a team that they like, and so let's say the first week, I choose the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not a football
Hmm.
person, so I'm probably going to offend someone. And then someone does chooses, let's say, the Patriots, right? And then in that first week, whoever chose the Patriots lost, they're out for the rest of the season. But the following week, I get to play, but I don't get to, you can't choose the same team twice. So the next week, I would
Interesting.
have to choose a different team, and basically, whoever survives the longest wins. So that's kind of Survivor. It's not like fantasy football where you do drafts and stats and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it's
but
like
anyways,
survival of the best team pick.
yeah, exactly. Survival of the best. Um, and so we're building a public. We are sponsored by Pastel. We're sponsored by Appright, and we're sponsored by, who's the other sponsor, Ryan? Appright, Pastel, and Front End Mentor. So Front End
Oh,
Mentor, so they're all
nice.
sponsoring us. So Front End Mentor, 20%. Pastel, we get access to their site to be able to comment on stuff that we're working on. And then Appright is giving us a free account, which is awesome to be able to build
That is
in.
really cool.
Yeah, so it's super super cool. And then Appright is making their DevRel team and engineers available to us as we build. So um, yeah, Linda, it's awesome. It's really exciting, and we've been, you know, uh, we just started out. Some team members switched off it, and really, Shashi's goal is to give up and coming developers an opportunity to be seen in public, building, showcase them, and the goal is that they don't work on the project forever. That they get a job. I don't know if you ever met? Did you meet? You met Adam at that conference, right?
Adam who?
He had
Oh
the
yeah,
he had the
Adam.
beard.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
Rambling Adam.
that
Yes.
so Rambling Adam, he was a part of the project for a while and then got hired and then left the project because he knows a full-time job.
Yeah,
And that
that's
was all through
awesome.
Shashi. So Shashi is another person out there who absolutely loves helping new people break into tech. And so that one I got invited to, which is pretty cool. I didn't that was a fun little invite, and we're just getting going. But all of our meetings that we have, code reviews, once we get there, are all going to be done publicly. And we've been Shashi's been streaming, and I think our first stream we had like 400 people watching. The first stream, second stream we had about 150 to 200. Um, so and it's really exactly, Linda, it's getting the group work experience on tech projects. It is so helpful because the way Shashi is running it is by doing um, running it like they would at Microsoft, right? So I'm on the back end team, and I probably will be doing very little front end work unless help is needed, right? So I'm helping set up the CI/CD pipelines. We're using Vercel to host, getting that all set up, and then um, getting all the routes and databases built and all that fun stuff put together. So, but between those two projects, though, Deals for Devs and Gridiron Survivor, I really don't have time to work on a personal project right now, especially with, um, I'm being, I have a DevRel coach, someone who's coaching me in developer relations so I can try to land a job as a DevRel.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
then,
You do great at that.
yeah, oh, I'm so excited. I'm really hoping, they're promote. It's been just a cool experience. And then, applying for jobs at the same time. So all of that together, trying to balance out the stuff that I'm doing.
So, how many okay, so you work full time right now and you're a manager. So, like is your job, your full-time job, is that pretty high stress
Yeah.
or is it okay,
Yes.
so then how many so that's what 40 hours a week. And then you code. So how many hours a day are you actually coding, and then how much time? So we went over two, I think, different projects that you're doing, maybe
Yeah.
three. So
Mhm.
so how much time are you spending on each of those, and how do you break like your day up? Like, how much time per hour, like how many hours per day, and then how do you break it up so that you are getting enough work done in each project to move forward, and not because it takes, for me at least, it takes a while to get into the flow state, right? And I have kids, so I get interrupted by them, and it's like it takes me like an hour sometimes to just get to the point where I feel like my brain can actually understand what I'm doing. I have to like warm up a bit sometimes. And so how do you manage that, especially with so many different projects going on and working full time, and you're married and you have to, you have personal
Yeah.
time too. So all of that together, it's just a whole lot. So how do you balance all of
Yes.
that?
I don't. That's the honest answer. The full honest answer is I don't balance at all. Um, it's interesting. Yeah, my job is about 50 hours a week, my daytime job.
Okay. Wow. Way even more. Okay.
Yeah, some weeks it's even 60 hours a week. So, I would be completely lying if I said I have a perfect solution because I don't. I'm stressed out all the time. I always have something I want to be working on. I'm
Yep.
depressed during the day at my day job because it's a job that I don't want to be doing. Very thankful that I have a job though, that I'm not one of those. There's a lot of people out there who are unfortunate to be, getting laid off and they're just searching for the next stream of income.
Yep.
So I'm thankful for that, but I mean, I'm not happy with where I'm at. Yeah, Ryan, I know you're relating with me for sure. Ryan works at a aerospace defense company as well, so a different one. But it's one of those. That's why I backed off from doing the 2 week build. And actually, last weekend, I took the entire week, um, or entire weekend off of social media. I didn't, tweet.
Yep.
I didn't, and it was the most refreshing thing because I was talking to Leah. Leah's my wife. She's my wonderful, supportive wife, and I told her, I'm like, I feel like if I am not on Twitter responding, then I'm gonna miss a connection that's gonna land me a job.
Yep.
And I just can't live under that pressure. That's my phone was beeping off the hook all the time. It just kept on going. Um, and and after last weekend, I've been kind of taking a step back. I haven't been posting as much. I haven't been talking as much on Discord. Ellie, I know I won't miss it, but it's that, yeah, it's the FOMO. It's really the
Oh, and
FOMO.
Since we're talking about social media breaks, hey Dan, I have not ignored you. I have taken a social media break this week too, so I am playing catch up today. I literally just like you, Chris. I like took a social media break, and the only reason I got on was to promote this because I didn't,
Yeah.
as I didn't want to like just go in with not saying anything about it. And if I had not been on a social media break, I would have promoted it more. So no, it did not get
It's all
lost in
good
the inner
though.
tubes, and I will send you a response after this. But yes, I have been on it. My kids had spring break, so like I took this week off to like me and my daughters, we found Once Upon a Time, this the TV show, and they both got really into it last
Oh,
night. So we started that, and then I let my 9-year-old stay up late with me and watch Ever After last night after the 6-year-old went to bed. So I just have been spending this week
nice.
um trying to like hang out with my kids because I also have to balance parenting, and that's like really hard, and I can get into those modes where like sometimes I get snippy with my kids because they're interrupting me too much, so I just
Oh
like was
yeah.
like, nope, I'm gonna take a break and hang out with them, and spend that time with them because that's another factor in my life that's so yeah, sorry, I
Well,
didn't mean to interrupt.
oh no, you're fine. I mean, and look, you bring up a valid point there. It's when those people, those of us with ADHD, once you get into the zone, when you get snapped out of that zone, it's very
Yep.
frustrating because it took so much to get into that zone.
Yep.
And then we snap at our partners or we snap at, our kids. I don't have any kids, but my wife will definitely let me know. And I've, I can recognize it. I'm like, I'm like, sorry, baby. I was in a zone and you got me out of it. And that's really hard for me sometimes, and it's not
Yep.
fair. That's just how it is. It doesn't mean that my snapping is okay.
Yeah, no, I know.
But
And like so with kids though, like my 4-year-old and 6-year-old, oh my gosh, they will come in every 5 minutes. So yes, I have to like learn to take a break and be like, okay, I don't need to right now. But at
yeah.
the same time, with our type of career path, I feel like if you're not coding regularly, like it's easier to like forget things or you miss out because right with our career path you either have to be like really networking and you have to be like up on top of the
Hmm.
latest trends, like it's always changing, so it's like always like this rat race to get to where you want to be. And then even then, like at least my personality, I always want to shoot more and do better, like I want to like have some type of a name for myself, whatever that is like selfish as that sounds. I don't like but it's true, like that's just who I am. I want to do good enough so that like um that I make either a difference or I do something that helps people, but I don't know. So it's just balancing all of that with this career path. You're constantly having to be engaged, whether it be with your code or whether it be with other people. And then sometimes like that your personal life can take a back seat if you're not
Oh
careful
yeah.
about it.
Yep. Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. And I think for me, that's where I'm trying to figure out how to balance it all. When I was doing my coding boot camp, that was even more intense because I was getting lessons done and assignments to turn in. And, this is, I think, intense in a different way because I've had more success and possible career opportunities through people that I meet referring me to
Yep.
roles than
Yep.
just, and so I've been kind of taking a step back and I'm reevaluating. In fact, I think I sent Ryan a message on this morning on Discord. But I was like, I need to break down my projects even more. So even the stuff that I'm working on for Shashi, the stuff that I'm working on for James, being realistic with my time and being not only realistic with my time, but making sure the projects that I'm working on are going to provide some sort of value to the coding community and value for my goal. And
Yes.
the reality is, my goal is I'm trying to get exposure and showcase my abilities as a software developer so that someone will hire me. And if I'm just working on a random to do app, which I'm not, or these random things, I'm learning that
Mhm.
those are good to a degree, but actually working with others, building in public with others on projects that are going to be showcased in the real world, that's providing more value. And that
Mhm.
even goes over into, I've been kind of trying to take a step back on Twitter. There was 2 weeks where Twitter was just for me, my engagements was like I was getting like 50,000 engagements a week or something
Mhm.
like that. It was insane. And I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how. I think there's a few things that I tweeted. They didn't go viral, but they just got a lot of, a lot of people, a lot of visibility. And so I capitalized that and I just started commenting on everything. And last weekend when I wasn't on there, something I've been thinking about is I want a different lens that I look through when I tweet or when I post on social media. Is something that I'm posting going to be valuable to the community, or is the reason why I'm posting out of fear that I'm going to lose my engagements or lose visibility and not get seen? And I would rather provide
Oh.
quality content, whether it's a thought on a stack that I'm learning, something technical that I'm learning, or, I love going in and, seeing what our friends Ellie and Ryan and others are posting and supporting them.
Mhm.
Um, rather than if I'm going to post out of fear, then I'm not going to post. Um,
Interesting. I've never heard somebody say post out of fear before. Like, I could see how it would yeah, that's an interesting
I
take to
mean,
have and an interesting way to look at it.
yeah, yeah, it's so true. It's and it could be a small fear, but, like I said, the reason why I went off social media for the weekend was because I was posting out of FOMO, out of I'm gonna miss that connection, I'm gonna lose that visibility, and that's not why I wanna be posting.
Yeah.
Um, so if I'm supporting another friend, tech friend out there, or posting about something I'm learning or building in public, um, I'm really not gonna be posting, random stuff that much anymore because it takes so much of my time that I really have time for anything else. And so, um, and look, I mean, the other part of it is, my wife is a partner in this as well. Although she's not a coder, she's super insanely supportive through,
Mhm.
um, giving me grace to. I mean, look, I get up in the morning, I work all day. I get done with work. Her and I hang out for a couple hours. We dinner together. We watch TV or talk or whatever. She goes to bed, and then I'm up till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yep.
Um, and repeat, right? And so now I'm kind of stepping back and going, all right, maybe I might do that 1 or 2 nights a week, but the rest of the nights I'm starting to prioritize sleep more and resting more because that's actually helping my mental health overall. Because I burn out way too easily, and I'm still in the process of healing from a burnout that I hit last Friday,
Yep.
pushing me into I can't keep this up anymore. Something's got to give.
Yeah, I found like my pattern right now that I'm trying to fix to where it's more balanced, but it's like I can code for 2, 3 days, like where it's like that's what my main focus is right outside of like personal things. And then after that, though, because I've spent so much brain power and like focus on that, like I have to take another, it's like half on, half off. But when I get into it, I get really into it. I don't want to stop, right? And then I'm like trying to go to sleep and still thinking about it and then having trouble sleeping when I finally go to sleep at like 5 in the morning or whatever it is. And so just trying to find a balance of how to like be able to stop whenever it's a better whenever it's a little earlier and like not worry about it and then but be able to do and then be able to code every single day instead of feeling burnt out every few days and then having to take a break and not open the laptop and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yep. Oh,
Hey
1000%.
Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Nice to see you.
Welcome,
Thanks for
Nick.
joining. We're all on audio because we kept having video issues and freezing, so
Yeah.
we went over to podcast style.
So this is like a weird version of Twitter Spaces right now, basically, without other people having the ability to talk, right?
That's right. Well, it's like a podcast, a live podcast, right? But yeah, so that's yeah, I like how that yeah, but yeah, the fear I totally do understand the fear of missing out because in it you get a dopamine hit if you have like a nice like a, a tweet that does really well, like that feels good in your brain. At least it does for me, right?
Mhm.
So
Well,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it can be really hard to not chase that dopamine once you've gotten it. I used to get it. I
It
don't really get it that much anymore, so but I do know how it feels.
No, it is. It's exciting when it happens, I mean, it's weird. I A year ago, I had no idea what I should be, Instagram, sure, I know what to post on there. Great. Facebook, I haven't used in years. I just keep it to go into every now and then and connect with old friends from high school or something. Um, Twitter, I never understood for years. I was like, I don't get it. Like, why would I tweet something? I don't get it. And it wasn't until I jumped into the software development industry and curated a feed around um, people that I enjoy, content that I enjoy around software development, that this community started to develop where it's almost like an ongoing conversation with a bunch of friends. It's like a really cool long group
Yeah.
chat message with multiple topics, and I love it, right? And
Yep.
that dopamine hit is real. And since we're in a place of transparency, the other part about it that is hard for me is the rejection sensitivity. I'm afraid to post things sometimes because is someone gonna, Twitter's a dark place sometimes. People,
Oh, I know. Yep. I can't like
can take things the wrong way or anything.
it took me about so just like after that conference, maybe a little bit before, but I had anxiety going into that, and like coming out I felt super refreshed, and I'd met, you and Ryan and Ellie and all these amazing people who were there in real life. I found out that Ellie was not a cartoon character. I'm never going to let her live that down. I love you, Ellie. um but uh but like, so going back, I understand like the friendship posted, like you're talking with all of your friends and everything. um and I had a thought and then I got sidetracked. But as far as like Twitter is concerned, like the reason I ended up joining it in real life because I was depressed and like I didn't have any developer friends. So that's why I joined in the first place. And then I would have never gone to that if I'd never joined Twitter. I would have never been talking to you right now. I wouldn't be streaming right now. I wouldn't be doing all of these
Yeah.
things that I'm doing now because I joined that platform, X or Twitter as when it was. And like
Mhm.
there's just so many opportunities that you can get. And so yeah, that fear of missing out can is really real for me too, especially with because I've had those opportunities. Like I won a boot camp. I won a spot in a boot camp because I was on Twitter. I won my first freelancing job because I was on Twitter. Like I
Mhm.
am where I am in my career today because of that platform.
Right?
Like there's
Yeah.
no way around it. Like that is why I'm where I am, and that's why we're talking. And like there's just so many things that have benefited me from it, and I'm so grateful that like for it, for all the people that are there and that I joined. Like I would not be here. And so there is that fear of missing out where if you stop posting, like those opportunities are going to go away. And honestly, they probably will at
Yeah.
some point, right? Because if you aren't posting, then people are going to forget about you, probably, unless you're
Ye
like got 250,000 followers or whatnot.
Sure. But, I think you said something interesting where, you've benefited from it, but I think the Twitter community has benefited from you as well. I mean, you're curating friendships, and people are benefiting from the things that you are posting and saying, and I think that shows something, right? It's really interesting. Um, before I went to conferences, started meeting people and getting involved more on Twitter and open source communities, things changed once my mindset shifted from, you know, at first it's what we're posting so that well, the goal, what we want to get that job, we want to land that gig, we want to get that connection. And when you switch that mentality to what can I give back to the coding community? What can I bring to the table that helps someone else? It switched the way that I interacted. And in fact, I saw more engagements by flipping that mentality. Um, which I think is a great way to think about things sometimes, and it switched the way even the opportunities that I have, um, at some of the jobs that I've applied for where I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't got interviews yet. I'm waiting to hear back, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, earlier we were talking about the fear of posting. So I it took sometimes it because as a woman, anytime I post anything related,
Mm.
I get so many comments of people who mansplaining. We'll just because it is what it is.
Oh
They don't know
gosh.
any context. and then I get all this advice when I didn't ask for it. And I am definitely one to take advice. If I ask for feedback or advice, I want it, right? But if I don't ask for it, then I don't want it on Twitter. Now, if it was like, if I was sending you something because we have a personal rapport, right? And like I was like, hey, can you look at this or whatever? Of course, anybody here in this chat that, we're talking, that Ellie and Ryan and Linda and Dan, like I would be more than happy to take those feedbacks. But and sometimes, and there have been times where I give feedback too that wasn't asked, but I usually DM the person and do it personally and ask if it's okay if I give them this, what I saw, and then if they say, it gives them a chance to say yes, I'd love your feedback, or no, I'm okay, I don't want it right now, right? Because sometimes, so that's something that for me personally, I have to, like, there's sometimes a battle for me to
Mm.
post something, especially like technically related, because I know that going into it that I'm going to get those types of comments because it never fails. It just happens.
And it sucks that that's the way the world is. It just sucks. It's not fair because you and Ellie are super talented amongst a lot of other female developers. Um, and I think, um, yeah, it's almost like in real life, right? Something I've learned. Sometimes you just want to post and be heard, and you don't want someone to come in and fix it or mansplain it to you. You just like, hey, look at the cool code I wrote. I'm very proud of myself for this. And
Yes.
you get those jerk faces that come in and are like, well, you could have used a while statement here instead, and you could have traversed that function and blah, 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 blah. You're like, I don't give a crap what you think. I'm proud of myself for doing this. And then there's times where we do ask for advice. One of the most important lessons I learned in marriage is don't try to fix it unless asked. Sometimes just listening that helps.
Yep.
And I think the same
Yep.
thing goes here. And I hear you. And I think there's so many powerful women in tech um, that don't get enough voice. And so kudos to all you, especially after I think we just wasn't it last Friday was celebrating women in tech or something like that, right?
Yes. Yes. And I'm actually going to be on a space with somebody here, I think next week. I have to
Oh, cool.
make sure. Yeah, that it's about women in tech. So that's, yeah. So yeah. But yeah, so fear of missing out. That was it. Like I think like that was what I had to say on that piece.
Yeah, there you go.
But we're coming up on an hour, so that's typically whenever I ended after an
Sweet.
hour. We can keep going if you want to, but I know you have work to get back to and everything, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and talk to me.
Totally.
I really
You
I knew it was going to be a fun conversation, and it has been. Um, um,
do you want to do a quick, like, 10-minute ask me anything session from the chat?
yeah, that's a great idea. Yes, let's do that.
Let's do
Okay,
that.
so all right, 10
So,
minutes,
chat,
people. Ask him anything he wants, anything you want.
or you, whatever,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, look, see, like you're giving me
ask us
lessons right
anything.
now. Dan says, "Do you like Laravel?"
Uh, you know what? I know a bunch of people who code in the Laravel stack. I don't know enough about it. I believe it's PHP based. Not my cup of tea. I'm a React dude. I like React and Next.js and Astro. But I'm not against it. I don't think it's bad. I just don't know enough about it.
Have you touched Vue yet, Chris?
I have not.
Oh, okay. It's my favorite.
Now, not that I don't want to. It's just that in the last year, I was like, I'm gonna focus on. I mean, after boot camp, I learned about Astro, made my portfolio site in Astro, and then Next.js, and then I switched to Next.js. I'm like, all right, I got to stick to one, and I chose Next.js.
Gotcha.
Um, let's see here, Ryan, Chris Wicks, please tell me which you prefer between Astro and Next.js, and tell me why. Oh, buddy. Um, you know, both are unique for different circumstances. I think Astro is phenomenal for documentation and content only type sites. If you have little interaction, um, the cool thing about Astro is if you need to provide that interaction, like using a reactive view or Svelte or something like that, that you can bring that into the Astro project as well. Um, Next.js is just, I like the way that they do their app router. I like the way that you can, similar to Astro, you start up a project and you don't need a separate backend in Express. and how Next.js kind of works with Vercel, since Vercel makes that framework. There's a lot of benefits to what you can do in their platform and hosting your Next.js apps. But I'm not against, um, definitely not against Astro. I think it's a great stack. In fact, I'm going to be building my wife's. Uh, she's starting her own practice, so I'm going to be building her site in Astro.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Dan asks, "What's your take on React Server Components?" I love them. I think React Server Components is a great place that React is going. I think it's making web apps, gosh, much more efficient. The browser, we don't have to wait for the browser to load all the content. The server takes care of that for us, reducing the load on the client side. And a lot of the frameworks, databases out there, and SDKs are coming out with more server side rendering, RSC components that you can make using server side rendering SDKs to be more efficient. I've used um, server actions, React Server Components to send emails, to process cron jobs in the back end, and it's great.
Awesome. Linda says, "What's the best thing that happened to you this week?"
Ah, this this conversation is one of the best. This is the great part about the week. And one thing I saw, I need to comment, Dan. Uh, Astro now has a DB. They just
Yeah, he
launched it
said
this
that.
week.
I
Oh, okay.
cannot wait to dig into that. Oh,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
so
yes. I
excited.
didn't see that. Yeah, best thing that happened for me this week. There's a few things. My my so this conversation, I just love connecting with other developers. So thank you for inviting me on this. This has been a wonderful thing to look forward to this week at the end of a long, long, long week. And then the other exciting thing that happened this week is my DevRel coach um, connected me with the hiring manager for a DevRel position at MongoDB.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
talking.
Nice.
I'm not interviewing. I haven't been chosen. We're just in the. She just connected us via email. So that's just kind of started. But that's really cool. And then, um, we'll see what happens. So they haven't interviewed me. They haven't reached out. We're not in the talks, but the opportunity is there, and the connection exactly led to the connection count. So,
That is amazing. Yeah,
um,
even if it doesn't work out, you've got the connection that could even lead the other doors in,
yeah.
in the near future. So it's still like a really good
Hmm.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm hoping that
Yeah.
turns into something. So that's exciting. Uh, and then today I just applied for a job with Netlify. So
Oh, nice.
yes. So
My good news is not tech related, but it's so last week, so we've been having issues with my insurance company, and they didn't end up like removing the mold from my house and all of that, so I tweeted about
oh
it, and the CEO from the company ended up responding to my tweet, and then so now instead of being in connect with my insurance agent, I'm in connection with the insurance director and working with him, and our mold is going
uh
to get fixed in our house, and like they're reopening the cases that they closed, and he's been reaching out
good.
to me, which is like, so it's going to extend the process a bit, but our house is going to finally get fixed, and like all the stuff that we were planning on getting from the beginning is finally going to happen because I tweeted about it, and it got enough headway. So
Finally.
anybody who commented, thank you so much for commenting on that, because
Yes.
it made waves, and it lit a fire to get things done. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh man, I bet you guys are still in the Airbnb right now, right?
We're in an Airbnb, yeah, and it's nice. It's a nice Airbnb. It's a big house, like it's perfect, like it's close to the kids' school. But like this whole thing, like I had at one point we had to move to my dad's. We had to switch my kids' school districts, and then we switched them back.
Oh
Like it's been this, and like the thing is like our insurance agent was not answering us. Like it would take us weeks to get a response, and so like when the director called me, I was like, look, like I understand he might have something going on in his life that's like not making him that's like affecting his work, right? And like I can understand that, but our livelihoods, my family's livelihoods are being directly affected by the lack of response. Like this should have been done already, and like so yeah, so now it's going to take a little bit longer, but the outcome will be better, which
yep.
is good. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it was black mold. We had black mold in our house,
Well,
and so we couldn't live in there. Yeah.
well,
And it's
I'm hoping we see progress in that for you, Shuck.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Cool,
Dan
cool.
asked a question about view events and why it's always callbacks, which I don't understand, Dan. I emit my events up. Is that what you mean by callback? And then also sometimes I save state in another file and then import the state directly and update that way. So that was my question
Mm,
that was my answer to that. Um, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be celebrating when I get back home, Linda. I'm really excited.
I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for you and the family and the kids to be back in a normal environment again.
Yeah, I miss all my stuff is in storage. Like I'm living on, we have our clothes and like I have my workstation. I was able to save that, but like all of my other stuff, like everything, all of our toys, we're living off of just like stuff that we've had to buy since then. It's crazy. I don't even know where the storage is. Like I have no idea where my stuff is right
Oh
now.
my gosh. Well,
So
hoping for get you and your family to get back to that familiar life quickly.
thanks, Ryan, for stopping in. It was nice seeing you. I hope to
Thanks,
chat with you
Ryan.
soon.
Yeah,
Any
thank
other
you, everyone. I think,
questions?
yeah,
I think it,
mm-hmm. I
I
think we're
think we
good.
pretty much wrapped it up. Yep.
Yep, I think that's a great place to stop.
Me too. Well, thanks so much again, Chris, and I hope we can talk again. And maybe
For
next time we
sure.
talk, you'll be a DevRel somewhere, and we can get going. We can talk about that next time.
1,000%. I hope we get to talk about that next time. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks everybody for
All
joining,
right. See you
and
later, everyone.
we'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.